know if this is going to make sense, but as a PA, I refuse to believe that I don't make enough money to live comfortably in this economy. But also, I don't really know if I can afford to work or afford not to work. Can I explain something to you for a second? Like, okay, so we are about to move to North Carolina. I'm about to have our second baby. So I am obviously going to have to like leave my job and take some sort of maternity leave. But it's just a matter of if like I'm going to find another job after, because we have one kid in daycare right now. We spend about $420 a week on childcare. I feel like already we're living paycheck to paycheck.
Am I the only one who feels like I will never stop living paycheck to paycheck? The economy we live in is trash. The jobs we work for are trash. They pay you the bare minimum, but want you to show up and give your 110%. How does that work? These houses, they want you to pay $1,000+ for rent, and they're 1980 houses. You gotta have a deposit, last month's rent, first month's rent. Like, why do I need to pay last month's rent? I don't understand that. Car insurance, car payments, they're rip-offs. Why am I paying $300 for car insurance? I don't understand. Health insurance, skyrocket. Food, skyrocket. Like, I just don't understand how I will ever be able to afford to wake up and go hop on a plane and enjoy my best life.
We live in a world where working full time doesn't mean stability, where promotion doesn't guarantee peace of mind, and where even the educated, the employed, and the ambitious still live paycheck to paycheck. But this didn't happen overnight. In 2025, this has become the default setting for millions of people. So the real question is, how did we get here? Why are so many people constantly on the edge, financially drained, and emotionally exhausted, even when they are doing everything right? Let's take a deep dive into the paycheck to paycheck economy, not just the symptoms, but the roots, the real number, and the possible way out. Let's paint a picture. You wake up at 5:30 a.m. You get your kids ready for school, pack lunch from what is left in the fridge, hop on a crowded bus and head to your 9 to 5. By the time you are home, you are exhausted, you still have to cook, help with homework, and maybe log into a side hustle or gig work just to make ends meet. You finally get a paycheck, you pay your rent, that is 40 to 50% of it gone. Utilities, internet, cell phone, down another 20%. Groceries for the week, another 15%. Transportation, gas, bus fare. Now you're praying your child doesn't get sick because there's no room for a medical bill, and savings, retirement, emergency funds non-existent. This is the cycle, and it's happening to millions of people. Let's take a look at this video.
It is impossible to save right now. This is coming from somebody who is a really good saver. The fact that I have done less this year and yet I still have nothing to save is wild to me. I don't go out to eat, I don't get drinks. This is the least I've ever traveled. Shopping sprees are very far and few between. Also, I'm spending less money on rent, and yet every single one of my paychecks is going towards some sort of bill, an adult related thing I don't want to pay for, like insurance, my car repair, maintenance on my HVAC. I feel like the list is endless. Long story short, everything costs too much. There's so many hidden fees, so unless you ask for an itemized report of what exactly you've been charged for, you're probably paying more than you're actually supposed to. Companies want to pay you less, the cost of living is rising. As an example, the way that I used to make $3,000 a month when I graduated college, and yet I was still able to save about $1,000 a month, I can't do that anymore. Ways that I could stretch $100 when I was in college does not go far now. Honestly, if you can, move home with your parents. Pick up a side job. It's only gonna get worse before it gets better. What really enrages me is when the economy is up, the prices go up, and then they never come down. And even when the economy is not doing good, those prices never come down. And guess who suffers? All of us.
The numbers don't lie. Let's look at the data. As of 2025, 63% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, including over 45% of those earning six figures. The median rent for a one-bedroom apartment in a major city is over $1,800 a month. Groceries have increased over 18% since 2021. The federal minimum wage still stuck at $7.25 since 2009. Meanwhile, the average CEO CEO in the US earns 400 times more than the lowest paid employee. Major corporations report record-breaking profits, yet their workers still qualify for food stamps. So when people say just budget better, don't buy Starbucks, that's not a financial advice, that's gaslighting. Let's go back in time. In the 1950s and 60s, a single income could support a family, buy a home, and cover college tuition. Today, two incomes can barely handle rent. So what's changed? Wages stagnated, started in the late 70s, while productivity and executive pay soared. The cost of college exploded. In the 1980s, average tuition fee was $10,000 per year, and today it's 30,000 plus for many state schools. Healthcare turned into a profit machine. Unions weakened and workers lost bargaining power. The gig economy emerged, offering flexibility but no stability. And slowly, we normalized the hustle. We glorified burnout. We turned survival into personal failure instead of systematic dysfunction. Let's take a look at this video.
Did you know that 67% of the people in America live paycheck to paycheck? And 37% of the people in America are unable to pay their household expenses. I'm not talking above and beyond. I'm just talking household basic expenses. Now that is sad. The fact that we have working people out there that can't afford to save, that can't afford to have life experiences, that is sad. And if you're one of those people and you're sick and tired of living that way, you have to make a change. That's all there is to it. You have to make a change and do something for yourself.
So we've all seen memes just like this. They're all over the internet. A family loading $10 worth of groceries into their $1,000 car before heading to their $12,000 home in the 1950s. This meme is supposed to point to a time when things were better, when life was easier for Americans, when life was more affordable for Americans. And that's what many of us would like to get back to, a more affordable time. Not everything from the 50s, but the affordability of the 50s is what people want to get back to. And I am incredibly sympathetic to it. I want that as well. But these memes are used to try and support right-wing policies. But you know what the policies looked like, at least economically, from the 1950s? They looked like this. Look at the second column there. Third number down, 1950. 84.36% was our top marginal tax rate. It jumped up to 91% in 51, 92% in 52, stayed at 92% in 53, and then didn't come down below 91% until 1964, where it dropped down to 77%. And as things have become more and more unaffordable and our wages have stagnated, what has that top tax rate done? Well, it's continued to drop from 70% in the 70s all the way down to 50% in the 80s, all the way down to 37% today. So if you're on the right and you're advocating for lower taxes, especially for those on the top, you got to tell me, how do you make this work? What makes you think that lowering tax rate is going to get us back to this? How is lowering the top tax rate going to get us back to what so many people want to get us back to?
Who is struggling and who is not? The paycheck to paycheck lifestyle affects nurses, teachers, retail workers, single parents, college grad with loans, even tech professionals with decent paycheck but high living costs. But there is one group doing just fine, and that is the ultra wealthy. They own the homes we rent, the platform we work on, the banks we borrow from, and the company that raise prices while blaming inflation. Wealth is concentrating, not disappearing, and that is the part they don't want you to think about. This isn't just economic, it's emotional. Living paycheck to paycheck is constant anxiety, never being able to rest, feeling shame or failure for something you can't control, making impossible choices every single day. Parents skipping meals so their kids can eat, college grads sleeping in their cars, workers hiding homelessness from employers. That's trauma, that's survival mode, and that's not a way for someone to live. You have a burnout epidemic, a mental health crisis, and millions suffering silently because they're too busy trying to keep the lights on. If you feel like you are falling behind despite working hard, it's not a fault. The system is designed to, or the system is built to, profit off debits, keep wages low, outsource benefits to the individual, make you guilty for being poor, keep you distracted or too exhausted to organize or resist. This is capitalism on autopilot where profits beats people. And until that changes, the circle continues. So what now? This isn't about waiting for some magical fix. It's about pushing for real change. Solutions include raising the minimum wage, expanding universal health care, implementing rent control in overpriced cities, forgiving or reducing student debt, support union efforts and collective bargaining, investing in mental health and social safety nets. But it also means changing how we define success, shifting from how much you make to how much peace you have. On a personal level, it might mean joining mutual aid groups, practicing financial transparency with friends, learning skills to reduce dependency on exploitative systems, voting for policies that help working people, not just stockholders. We are not broken, the system is. We are not lazy, we are just surviving. We are not the only one trying to stretch a meal into three. Living paycheck to paycheck might feel normal now, but it shouldn't be. You deserve better. This is not the life we should accept. It is not normal, it is not okay, and we deserve better. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, and thanks for watching. Bye.